Hi, I'm Snodgrass, and in this episode of Let's Play WoW, we're going to look at the very, what I call like questing techniques, whatever. It's a basic guide for playing a Arcane Mage. I have a buddy, a friend in Memphis who's now in Nashville, and I talked him into rolling a Mage, and he had a Shadowlands level boost. So we're gonna do some questing together, and I'm just gonna talk a little bit about out in the world as a Arcane Mage. If you play Arcane Mage and you're like a current content raider, you're gonna watch this and you're gonna have things that will be like, now why would you do that? If you're a current content Arcane Mage raider, I don't feel like this guide is for you in any way whatsoever. But if you're just like getting back into WoW or starting WoW for the first time, or maybe you have decided you wanted to play Mage for the first time, then I'll give you some ideas and some suggestions about the way that I play Mage, and you can do what you want with it. First of all, I want to talk about the spell book. Within the spell book, I consider there's like 4 classes of spells. There are utility spells that do things like polymorph or feather fall or things like that. Things that are useful, but they're not necessarily part of every fight. Maybe you start a fight or something like that. Secondly, there's going to be, oh my gosh, I'm about to die things, and I put those in one place. Then there's some power up spells that will enhance what you're doing, or you may need to get your mana back, things like that. This is the Special Rift, which is the Void Elf passes. By the way, Blizzard, if you're watching this, what's the point? Because I can walk that fast. I can walk that fast, so I don't get it. 3-minute cooldown, and I don't even understand. I don't even know what's on my action bar. I probably never. All right, different video. Okay, so I have 3 polymorphs. They're all up here, but my polymorphs, there's no key binding for those. Portals, no key bindings. I don't have key bindings on that I use on the oh my gosh buttons, because I do a hybrid of key binding and mouse clicking. I mouse click things that I very rarely use, or things I don't want to accidentally cast. Like I don't want to accidentally ice block myself with a 4-minute cooldown. So that's the idea of those being somewhere that you can easily find them, but not somewhere you can accidentally cast them. Power ups you cast all the time. This is Arcane Power. And yeah, you need to cast that pretty regularly as it comes up when you want to use your power. Presence of Mind allows their Arcane Blast to be instant cast. So I have those in places that are easy to get to, but not something I'm going to use over and over and over again. The combat spells are the ones that are easy on the keys that I can most easily reach while I am operating the walking keys. And so my easiest 2 are V and R. I can easily cast those while I'm moving, strafing, whatever it is I'm doing. I can cast those. So the things that I want to be able to use in an instant, that's where I put those. Fire Blast is nice. I don't use it a whole lot. It's something I use if I'm having to run from something, and I'll hit Fire Blast. Not often used in Arcane Spec. And Frostbolt is nice to start with, has a long cast time, so I can reach it with my finger. I can also click it with the mouse, either way. Got a couple add-ons going on here. I'm using a couple of button add-ons. This is AutoBar. It doesn't really play into combat. These 2 bars are from Button Forge, and for this video I'll just turn those guys off. Won't be distracted by those. Also use MoveAnything, and I have moved all my action bars around so that this is QWS and this is ASD, and now I have my keyboard laid out. Those 6 buttons are not key bound except to motion. So otherwise all of these other buttons can be easily cast if you're a key binding kind of person. So I use from tilde to 6. I can pretty readily cast. I went ahead and put the numbers on out over there. And then ZC, X is for flying down, so I skip X, but I didn't skip the space. C, X, C. So I have Z, C, B.
I need to target something first.
B, and N. It needs to target something first. That's my concept of how to lay out your buttons. Things that you can, and this is Shift T, which I can also type while playing. So it's RT and then Shift T. Yeah, Shift E, Shift C. Things I don't use these very often, but I can type them if I want to. I want to fly. I don't really want to fly in the rocket, but that's on the spell bar. Now, I know all of the specs have merit and value, but for just being out in the world, I found that Arcane was very, very useful. This is the basics. Now, again, if you're like dungeoning or raiding, then you're going to have to go way, way beyond this. But essential. Prismatic barrier. This is 100%. Keep it up all the time. Every time it goes off, put it back on. Now, if I'm concerned, I'm going to start with Frostbolt, and then I'm going to go to Arcane Missiles. Done. If you're just out questing about and you're just doing run-of-the-mill quest mobs, get into range. So now I'm in range. Frostbolt.
I must get closer.
Arcane Missiles. Arcane Missiles. It is very easy to play, very fun to play. Blink, very handy. I took the shimmer. I took most of my talents off of Icy Veins recommendations. That is a horse, not a rocket. You also have the possibility of a lot of mess that you have to deal with. And this is a place where very easily can get into a lot of mess. Let's see if we can do this without dying. Start here. So I've got my prismatic barrier on and I'm just bopping along. Now I have a bear. Alright, so things are going a little bit the way I don't want them to go. I'm rooted, but so are they. I wasn't expecting that. Target with the tab. Get some distance. I'm using Arcane Nova. One of them's dead. Arcane Blast. I took a lot of damage because I was doing a lot of talking and I got rooted in melee range. Mages do not want to be rooted in melee range. So now in our mix we have added one of my utility spells. I've already done that. I must have my snacks on the bar I hid. AutoBar puts my healing potions in here. That has been there for a really, really long time. But AutoBar goes through the bag, finds whatever consumables you have, and makes a bar for them. And you can put the bars wherever you want. All right, let's go get in trouble one more time. So again, this guy's really far away. I'm going to get into range of Arcane Missiles. I'm going to start with Frost Nova, Frostbolt, Arcane Missiles. Frost Nova, because who knew that guy was coming? Arcane Missiles. Now it's Arcane Blast. I let Prismatic Barrier go down. Not a good plan, but got out of that okay. For just running around questing, the Arcane Mage is really simple to play. Frost Bolt, Arcane Missiles, and it's over. I use an add-on called ConRO for a rotation optimization. It's called Conflict Rotation Optimizer. Conflict Rotation Optimizer. And you'll see when I go into combat, it will start suggesting what I should cast. Now it wants me to cast Arcane Barrage. Now it wants me to put Touch of the Magi on. Wants me to power up and now use Arcane Blast. So I'm going to achieve in the long run, in a boss fight or something, I'm going to achieve a whole lot higher DPS, probably 10 or 15, 20% more, using the other spells. But if I'm just running around and I got to go down here and collect some kind of thing, here he comes. Frost Nova, Prismatic Barrier, Arcane Blast, Arcane Missiles, Arcane Missiles, Arcane Missiles.
Target.
I misspoke and said Arcane Blast. I meant Arcane Missiles. That's why I put Arcane Missiles for running around purposes. It just suits me to be able to have it here. If I want to just entertain myself, sometimes I will start with and then a Fire Blast because it's instant cast. Alright, so summarizing. We'll pick that up. Summarizing. Keep your shield up. Know where Frost Nova is. Make sure you can cast it whenever you need it. Frost Bolt, Arcane Missiles. It's a very effective, very easy. If you're just playing the game to have some fun, run some quests, and enjoy the story and play with your friends, then Arcane becomes a very simple spec to play. I didn't talk about Arcane Orb, which I talented into. It is the multi-target. It hits everything in front of you for 40 yards. Everything. Which means that if you're trying to hit something here, it's going to also hit those guys back there and pull them, and you're going to have to deal with all of that. Some raid teams just very much do not want you to have Arcane Orb, but for out in the wilds and questing, sometimes if I were trying to fight something right here, I would go to this and then fire it that way, so making sure that I don't hit those guys there. Arcane Orb is it doesn't need to be targeted. You just cast it, just like Frost Nova doesn't need to be targeted. Prismatic Barrier, Frost Bolt, Arcane Missile, occasionally Fire Blast, and if you get into a crowd, Arcane Explosion. Power-ups are always good to have. If you see a situation where you're going to need a lot of firepower fast, you can Arcane Power, throw Presence of Mind on, then you get 2 instant cast Arcane Blasts. But when I'm out questing, after the 2 instant casts, I'm usually finding myself relying on Arcane Missiles. Alright, I'll bring this episode to an end here with just a couple of comments. When I was trying to get the Void Elf Legacy Armor, Heritage Armor, I also was getting the Mechagon Heritage Armor at the same time. I had 2 Arcane Mages. They were both level 10. I played them from level 10 to level 110, and I was probably in the Legion Zone before I was ever in a situation where I was like, oh, I need more firepower than I can get with Arcane Missiles. But between the 2 of them, so if you're out soloing by yourself, you'll get to points where you have a big quest boss that you want to take down faster. You'll grow into more of the spells. But for picking up, like going and collecting the spider eggs or whatever you might be doing, you're going to do very well playing with Prismatic Barrier, Frost Nova, Frostbolt, Arcane Explosion, and Fire Blast. Just a handful of your entire repertoire will get you through a lot of the quest mechanics that you need to get through. Again, if you're a current content raider, you're going to look at this and go, "You're an idiot. You know what you're talking about." I have raided on my mage. I have quested on my mage. I have done dungeons on my mage. I'm not talking about dungeons and raids. I'm talking here about day-to-day running around questing and just, having some fun, keeping it simple, enjoying some time with your friends. You can really do that with the Arcane spec and not be like caught up in some super complicated rotation. I'll repeat one more time: Prismatic Barrier, Arcane Missiles, Frostbolt, Frost Nova, sometimes Fire Blast, and sometimes Arcane Explosion. Blink is always fun. Don't forget to blink. That's it. Thank you for watching this episode. Leave your comments or questions, and that is all. We'll see you in the next episode.